of the this team might actually be good moment for a lot of people, and with that kind of performance, that's how you have to keep your momentum rolling. That's how you have to really put the exclamation point on it and say, yeah, we are a top team because we're going to do it to elevate what every other top team has done to elevate so far this split.
And that's kind of where we've been seeing. In Memory of Michael last week, we're kind of floating around. They looked strong, but they weren't quite able to grasp, I think, like the top straws. They aren't at the same rate where we're seeing right now Strictly Business and Astral in the game.
No,
but
no one is, though.
Yeah, that's to be fair. But they look like this kind of team where we look at Obey, who are, you know, former world champs coming into this, and being able to shake it up, being able to cause trouble in the standings for North America. And the thing that kind of catches me out is Elevate, even though Keegsmate had a big impact, don't opt for the Almuz and Cobb ban, which is what we saw last week. No,
and leave the Cucullin open. That's going to be the pick right away for Delny, most likely. Could go in the jungle, but I imagine that's going to be in solo. Among teams in North America, it's been kind of divided into brackets of two. It's it's Astral Authority and Strictly Business up top. Then it's Obey and A Memory of Michael, and then the bottom two are Elevate and Soar right now. So these are the games that if you're in that middle bracket, like In Memory of Michael are, you've got to beat the lower end squads.
And it's looking like it's one of those where they can maybe shake it up. Like Soar showed some potential. Elevate shows potential, but they have to get there. They're actually going to lock in the Almuz and Cobb, which is one of those, we can't ban it because we don't want to spend a ban on it.
Right.
But we don't want you to have it, so we're going to have to take it from you.
In Memory of Michael going back-to-back with the mid-jungle, but without the Geb, I don't know how well this combo is going to end up working out for them. I really think that Inbound was a crucial part of what they were able to do in their mid 3v3. So Elevate's picks and bans so far with Geb and Almuz and Cobb very, very strong, taking away two of the highlight points of the Memory and Michael's composition in game one. Chalk against the Cucullin, I guess they really want to guarantee that there's going to be at least some pressure there for Neximus.
Coming and pulling it through. So far, it was kind of a, your team worked so well last time, let's see if we can run it, and then now we're looking into it, and it's just like, okay, well, Chalk is going to come through. Chalk, I mean, I can almost hear FDOT screaming for joy. It's not going to be in mid, but it's still going to be strong.
Right.
But the way things are going, we see the Sobek, the Jingwei, the Soul, the Nemesis, which, with the Ao Kuang, there's some good potential for damage as long as they can get online.
I'm seeing it now. The idea is to make sure that Chalk has pressure on the right so that Ao Kuang can't get invaded, so that he can secure his own speed in that blue on the right-hand side. Problem is, that's still a big task, and Chalk, while great at clearing the wave, isn't the best outright 2v2 fighter in the jungle. Gods like Osiris are better at that. Gods like Cucullin are better at that. So, In Memory of Michael is still going to be looking to invade on the right-hand side, especially with a low-pressure mid laner like Nuwa.
We see Xing Shen locked in for, I think, one of the rare occurrences of a support Xing Shen. Normally thrown into the solo lane, but I just don't see that happening with the rest of the picks on IMOM here. So that's going to get some early aggression and punish that Almuz and Cobb as long as they play it right. We saw an Ares earlier, so we know it can do a lot of damage if you get these aggressive supports.
And it's all about that knockup as well for the Awilish. That hook slam, you're going to be able to pick up that target, and then Awilish can pull it out with the Gravity Surge. Can also find the pull off of the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel if you pick up multiple members. It's hard to choose exactly which one you want to pull as Jumpa if you pick up multiple members with that Xing Chen ultimate, but you've got a couple options to set up for this Awilish.
Yeah, the washing machine's really good. Shoutouts to Husey.
Yep.
As we go forward, because we actually get to see some of that this game. Inbound looking to potentially deal some of that damage. And Crimson kind of, I mean, just runbacks on Jumpa and Crimson. Keeg's going to be opting into instead, though, the Chiron.
I like Chiron. I think that he's kind of underutilized right now. He has good pressure. He's got good safety. He can help out his own team with the cleanse and really does bring a lot to a team composition. That long-range damage, you've got plenty of it between the knock snipe and the Chiron shots.
And Inbound going to be hanging around. This time, swapping it back to what we're used to seeing, the support going to be hanging around over here. But Cameron has opted to be over here. It's going to give that little bit of extra push in the mid lane to try and fight up against this Nox. Because Nuwa is another one that is just kind of a spicy pick. We don't see it that often, though she's not really that bad.
No, she's certainly not bad. It's just that she's very, very late game oriented, and you need to be close to the opposition to be dealing relevant damage with Nuwa. You're not going to be able to really fire it off from a distance. Shining Metal, yes, does decent damage, but not really even a main damaging ability for most mages. You need to set up that minion stun, and to get the minion stun, they need to be fairly close to you. Now, a character like Xing Chen for Inbound is likely going to be close to Mythic. So as long as he can utilize his passive effectively to guarantee that minion stun, that's the biggest thing for the great Nuwa players, is being able to utilize that root passive. That's so big to set up. She can set up for herself. She can peel for herself. That's the real separator between decent Nuwas and good Nuwas, is how well you can use that passive.
Delny this game going to be able to opt into the Cucullin, which I think fits the playstyle we've been seeing a little bit more. Allows to fight, which was what Delny wanted to do a lot earlier on, but the Osiris just never really paid its way to allow that to go forward. No,
and Delny didn't really need to do a lot in that game because of how far ahead the rest of the squad got. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but on the Cucullin, this allows him to pressure out Ao Kuang a little bit better, and having that seething rage around him whenever he transforms, having the vent anger as well. It's a good AoE Ao Kuang revealer whenever Elevate Dr. L goes into that stealth.
We will see Elevate being able to pick up fully the Oracle Harpies to get a little bit of extra vision. This early on, it can make a small difference just to catch a jungle or a support rotation early on, but for the most part, that one's just we need the farm and we want to make sure you don't get it.
And just keeping that duo lane safe, because it's Kenshin all alone on this Geb so far, and while not going to likely die to any sort of invade or gank potential from a Memory of Michael at this stage of the game, you just want to make sure that whenever Cameron comes back to the duo lane, he's not going to have to worry about that either.
So the way that we saw IMOM playing yesterday, they were coming through and they were doing, I think what was, I guess, a little bit more standard of what we used to see in the meta, which was hold on to the early game just by farming, and then all of a sudden you have a huge lead so you can start fighting and you're taking everything. We're kind of seeing the same kind of slow start here with them coming out, but do you like the way that Elevate have changed their builds and the way that they've changed their composition?
Well, they went for less pressure in the jungle this time and are kind of accepting that they're going to get out pressured by a Willish Cucullin in the early stages, which, if you can walk that tightrope of being able to give up what you need to give up and secure what you need to secure, then yes, I think that is the right adjustment for Elevate, but that is a very fine line to try and walk along. And if in Memory of Michael end up getting a couple too many buffs and then Dr. L and Neximus are useless, then it's the bad call. If they don't give up enough and they try and fight and then they end up dying to try and defend these buffs, also the bad call. So it's kind of tough to say exactly how Elevate is going to react to this sort of playstyle until we see them trying to defend their buffs on the right-hand side.
I love that Chiron ult. I love that Chiron skin.
It's so
just
good.
Everything's so colorful, so pretty. And we get to see Keegsmate. I expect that's going to be the first of many ults that he's going to be throwing down. That one was just to clear minions.
We see Hunters do that a lot, and as well as some mid-mages like Ra who have lower cooldowns on their ultimate. It's just to get to your buffs on time, to get to them a little bit quicker, and knowing that you're not going to need that ultimate for the next 60 to 75 seconds anyways, may as well just use it to get some pressure in your lane.
Now looking for the advantage. What was essentially to get pressure in the solo lane and try to keep Dr. L afloat doesn't seem to be working too well for Elevate. They're at least not getting invaded, which is, I guess, the big move.
And that's all that matters. As long as they can get buffs on the right-hand side, if they're getting pushed under tower, who cares? That's not a big deal, as Cameron's going to have to beads off that ultimate from inbound. Good pressure onto the Almuzan Cobb, and in Memory of Michael, you'd think that their buff pressure would be on the right-hand side against the Ao Kuang, but it's really been the majority of it on the left.
We're seeing Cameron come through and try to do whatever he can to not only salvage this buff, but at least show that, yeah, I have presence on this side of the map. I can do something, but the Almuzan Cobb doesn't work as well for him as it has been working for Keegsmate, and I think that's just the matchup. Chiron comes and peaks a little bit earlier than we'll see the Almuzan Cobb, as Jumpa taking some damage, but he's out fine.
Delny going to show up and use the ultimate to try and secure the biggest minion, but that's going to go red for Elevate, so small win for them, trying to get Dr. L a little bit more farm. First rotation of buffs going to Elevate is a big deal for them. In Memory of Michael, really need to make sure that they're putting pressure on Elevate for the next speed and blue buff respawn on the right-hand side. That's where they need to put this pressure. If you allow Dr. L to just get his buffs without much worry, then you're playing right into Elevate's hands.
Memory of Michael are playing the patience game. They recognize that they have the same potential that they had last game to build up and get there, but they don't quite have the same setup that they had. They don't have the same overall grand scheme of the game to get things going, and Delny going to eat a little bit of poke for his trouble, but he's able to sit over here alone. He's going to be fine alone. On the other side, Neximus has pretty much been babysat by Dr. L, and it's not necessarily for Neximus, it's more for Dr. L.
Just making sure he can get as much guaranteed farm as possible, and not a bad look for the jungler, sticking even with Jumpa so far is exactly what they need from him. So good idea from Dr. L, and in memory, Michael hasn't punished him quite yet for it. They have lost a couple purples on the left-hand side because of how much attention the Ao Kuang has been paying to the right side of the map, as well as where Kenshin has been for the majority of this game, but not a bad thing to make sure that your Ao Kuang is staying safe through the early stages.
Potentially opening up the map to go maybe a little bit farther forward for them to push maybe into a Gold Fury, especially since Ao Kuang's hugging this side of the map. You can pull a big rotation over there, and that opens up this left-hand side objectives. Not only the purple buff, the tower, but the big one's always going to be the Gold Fury, and always open and ever-present, because KeegsMate likes to solo objectives like that.
This is the perfect time for the invade because Mythic's very low on mana. He's going to ult before he goes back to base, but he's not going to be able to impact this fight very much as Dr. L steps up. In memory of Michael, need to recognize that this is their best opportunity for a speed buff invade.
They're going to be coming in Jumpa and Inbound looking to fight. They're not going to be able to get that. The knockup and the ult coming through. Inbound going to be able to toss back Neximus. He's going to get caught out, but the shield's going to be good. The combo coming down, not enough to connect. And the damage is there, but it's just not enough to try and kill the Chalk. Delny, though, does not want to give up, is chasing down deep, recognizes he's in a 1v3, recognizes that Dr. L is still Ao Kuang, and they don't want to fight into that, so we're going to see everyone fall back from that one. And ultimately, IMOM, they were looking for first blood, and they couldn't find anything.
I do like the Xing Chen pick into the Ao Kuang as well. Can peel him away very easily, and it's another dot to reveal him in stealth. But overall, in memory of Michael, just not aggressive enough in that situation. Jumpa is the Willich in the early stages. He did such great work at this time last game. Try and do the same.
Now we're going to be seeing the execute come through up into the sky. First blood for Dr. L, and he's looking, maybe he wants to go back in, but he's too low health. The heal wasn't quite enough to make him feel comfortable. And Jumpa sitting down there ready to fight, ready to go, and is going to continue that aggression. The knockup going to be good on the Neximus, now trying to find the damage, and the rotations coming through. Should be the return kill. If they find the last hit, they're going to give it to Jumpa. It almost was enough to possibly slip out of their hands, but they had it under control. They're going to be able to trade solo for solo.
Good Geb shield there from Kenshin, and this is a pretty risky pick to go Nox into Geb. Geb shuts down every single thing Nox has going for her, basically, and doesn't shut down the escape, of course, but shuts down the damage over time of the ultimate, shuts down that combo very well, of course. In addition to that, it doesn't. The one thing that Nox ultimate will still have, if it gets shielded by that Geb shield, is the damage mitigation effect. Once you get hit by that, you actually deal less damage.
Now Cameron going to get 3-man surrounded, and they're going to be coming down. Amuzin Cobb is great, but he's not great at escaping. And we're going to see that come down. Jumpa just keeps him locked, keeps a kill for himself. The second one now on the board for the team and himself. And this is kind of where we saw things start to get out of hand for Elevate last game.
And that's awful timing for Cameron to take a death there, because that was right after Elevate had gotten first blood. Dr. L's feeling good because he's the late game Ao Kuang and has gotten to the 9-minute mark without any sort of pressure. He's gotten every single buff of his own so far and the first blood. So he's thinking to himself, all right, I'm in a great position to run away with this game because we're even on the left, we're even in mid, and I'm ahead on right. The problem is that Jumpa has got another kill, which puts him ahead of Dr. L, and that puts KeegsMate ahead. And KeegsMate really pushed his lead very, very well in the last game. Plus, Cameron used the beats, so now he's in even more danger of dying again in the next 2 minutes or so. Cameron just has to be more aware of where Jumpa is going to be on the map. If all the buffs are down on right and oracles are up on left, chances are jungler's coming to you on the left side.
And again, just getting completely out-farmed by KeegsMate. Not worried at all is the ADC for IMOM. And Delny still wants to fight. And Kukulkan has always been that embodiment. Every time I see a solo laner go Kukulkan, I know they're going to get to play finally the playstyle they want to. They want to just get in your face. And he allows them to do that a little bit earlier. And we're going to see Inbound ult that speed buff, throw it away, just make sure they know who's boss.
Good damage on a Jumpa there from Mythic. Hit his combo. Jumpa's forced to jump away. Crimson as well needs the dash because Dr. L was pushing forward. Inbound is a little bit too early on that ultimate, was too far away from Kenshin. They wanted to get that fight rolling with a gravity surge combo from Jumpa off of Inbound's ultimate, but just couldn't quite find the mark.
We see Dr. L getting rooted down as Crimson finds his own root. But again, the combo is the big one for Nox, and when you can only hit one or the other, and you always have that ever-present threat of the Geb shield coming through, you're not going to be able to do the damage you need, and right now, that's a good example. Neximus comes through. I don't believe they were able to secure that speed buff. It's going to be sitting on the belt of Jumpa, but it's still going to be, overall, a big loss, I want to say, for IMOM, just because they use so much to secure their own buff.
Well, Dr. L's still very low with no purification beads, but Delny can't find him in that rage form. Blue buff invade would swing this slightly in memory of Michael's favor, and at least continuing to put some pressures. Jumpa does a nice job of securing it before Neximus's axe hits home. And on the left-hand side, Cameron is very far behind in stacks. He's down 30 stacks right now to Keegs on these Devo gloves, and needs to be careful because Keegs knows this is a time to take the 1v1.
And he knows how much mana Cameron has. And with the honey coming down to get the slow, the ult coming out, doesn't have a lot to be able to get away, but it is enough to deter the aggression. Not going to get the stinger back, but he's at least going to force IMOM to fall back, which they're going to go for the Oracle Harpies immediately, finally confirm them. But Dr. L looks hungry. He's not going to be able to find anyone to eat just yet. Very
smart play from Cameron. The only possible way he lives in that scenario is to cripple out Jumpa to stop the jump from happening, and it's exactly what he does. Quick reaction time. Put himself into a bad spot initially, but if you can use your mechanics to get you out, doesn't really matter.
We're finally seeing, I think, IMOM slowly but surely build a lead when it comes down to it, but it's 2-to-1 kills, and really it's not a big lead. The experience is going to make a big difference, but that gold is just easily thrown away depending on how these next few fights go.
2,000 gold at this stage is not enough against Nuwa, Geb, Ao Kuang in the 3v3. You need to be dominating those three with a Willish and Xing Chen in the early game if you want to keep that lead comfy. Now, that's not to say that a memory of Michael is you know, completely done for because they haven't gotten themselves a big lead, but it's going to become harder as this game goes on to keep Mythic's damage off the board. He went for a Warlock Sash Rush and has not been punished for it at all, and that's been very, very good for Elevate. Now he's tanky, he's got damage, he can survive, get up into that ultimate, and put out that damage with the Fire Shards as well.
Keegsmate going to be going in, trying to get some damage down, dashing forward, but now 3 surrounding him, and the Execute is ready, but Jumpa keeping Dr. L under wraps. The Geb Shield's going to be enough to save the jungler, but overall, just being able to make sure that the Hunter lives through. Keegsmate doesn't take a spill, and that's going to be the big one coming out from Jumpa.
Jumpa puts Keegs into hot water by saying, you know, let's go, I'm here, dash in, we'll try and get the kill. And then he saves his life with the beautiful knock-up and Gravity Surge onto Dr. L, creating distance between Keegs and the Ao Kuang, who was hunting for him with that Execute. Really nice play from Jumpa.
Now looking to potentially find some of their aggression back, but IMOM are still in a rough spot to be able to try and fight forward. Delny going to go in and stop the back, but when it comes down to it, they are looking for similar play like they had last game without the same lead that they were able to cultivate. And I even see that coming through. Crimson has opted to go back into the Doom Orb.
And looking for that big damage as Delny's going to knock up Neximus, and he's going to get hit with an ultimate of his own as Dr. L hits that slow but can't quite close the gap for the Wild Storm. Delny's going to be safe for the moment. No purification beads for the solo laner, still relying on using one of those ultimates either in the human form or the rage form to keep himself out of that Ao Kuang Execute.
Running around the map, Jumpa looking for the aggression that he had last game, trying to find any steals he can. He does have a couple of these timers, so he knows when he needs to be there. And actually using Delny's aggression to be able to go in, steal the blue buff away, and it keeps Dr. L dashed and done with his ability to come in and try and save that one. So it's going to be a small win, but it's going to be enough that as long as you get a few of those, you can start building a bigger lead.
Exactly. That's the whole idea for In Memory of Michael, and it's a well thought out one, is just use Delny's pressure. He's got the lead in that solo lane. Jumpa knows that there's no real point in diving that Ao Kuang. Stealing away that blue buff is worth about as much gold anyways.
Crimson is in an unfortunate position, I think. We've mentioned it a couple times, but Kenshin, his ever-present shield is always going to cause trouble for this mid laner, and a lot of the damage he was able to get down last game won't really exist for a long time this game, until maybe some of the later team fights, depending on where the shield gets thrown out. Oracle Harpies are going to be a big contest, and ultimately get split down the middle inbound, possibly getting traded out here, but Cameron going to be the one in a rough spot. 3-on-3, and they're going through. Cataclysm going to come down, but it's not going to stun anybody. 2 going to get pulled, and Jumpa's going to pull Mythic even further in. The Aegis is forced, and now it's going to be a 5-on-4. Inbound's going to get rooted down. The ult from Mythic going to be enough to confirm that one.
Nice play there by Elevate. Most important thing in that fight is that they've got 5 members there. That was a great engagement from A Memory of Michael, catching Cameron kind of off guard by himself around the backside of that Gold Fury pit. Plus they had gotten away Mythic's beads for nothing, but just numbers end up being enough for Elevate.
Now Gold Fury started. I like the use of the ult from Crimson just to cause a deterrence. Not enough to steal the Gold Fury, not enough to really kill anybody, but enough to put the fear into Elevate so they have to fall back.
Really smart play from Crimson. And if you can hit all 5 members with Nox ult, I don't care what the caveat is. I'm down. Sign me up. Because not only are you spreading a ton of damage out throughout the squad, but you're also making them all do less damage as well.
Cameron going to be able to take out Jumpa, who probably got a little bit too aggressive. I see the Stinger there hanging around, so Cameron able to find the ult, the kill, and now the potential to go on to Keegsmate now that he has Kenshin right around here. But Keegsmate here is playing it safe, recognizing that there's just too much aggression on the side of Elevate. He can 1v2 last game, not so much this game.
That was a 2v1 for Cameron in that situation, but he was the one. He turned it around onto Jumpa, who got his whole kit shut down by that Stinger. Had the purification beads. Don't know if it would have been enough to find the kill if he's able to feather step down Cameron there, but either way, Cameron with a really nice play, who has had some struggles in lane 1v1 up against Keegsmate, but every time Jumpa shows up, Cameron seems to make a great play.
So far, Delny has been the only successful member to find, of either team, to find a tower. He was able to push down the solo lane tower, get a little bit of gold, and again, any little bit of gold as it stacks up is going to be a lot as Memory of Michael can continue to build it up. But they are playing this one a lot more similar to what we saw like in the second set from EU, where everyone's being a little bit more careful. They recognize that it's not going to work as smoothly as it did game number 1. Elevate are expecting the aggression, and Elevate have the advantage in a lot of the fights because of the gap.
Jumpa, I don't think, realized that he knocked up Mythic there, and Mythic was without relics, without anyone around him. That was a free kill for Memory of Michael, just about. Luckily enough for Elevate, Jumpa just couldn't quite tell, and it can be hard to tell when you knock someone up through the wall. You got to be looking at those numbers to see if they're floating or not.
We're going to see Delny get cornered off in a blue buff. It's not his own. He's going to be able to fight forward. Jumpa going to be able to pick up Kenshin, though, who was thrown back by the whirlwind of Rage and Steel. As Delny looking to run away. Neximus going to get rooted down. Not going to be able to lock him up. Dr. L is here, though, and looking for the fight. Looking to get him in execute range, but not able to find it. The knockup's going to be good from Delny as he continues the fight. But there is the Om-Noms, and the Dragon goes up, and he's ready to continue going.
A valiant fight from Delny, but eventually that's going to go the Ao Kuang's way in the 2v1. Memory of Michael looking to make it happen on the left side of the map in response, though. Gold Fury getting really low, and it gets secured by Crimson.
Now inbound in a position where he could potentially fight, but his ult is down, and his team is nowhere to be found, really, and they don't want to go into this one. Dr. L has rotated over, and Ao Kuang's present. Even though you know the execute's down, he still throws out a lot of damage. You don't want to fight him.
By this time, now that Dragon Call and Wildstorm are maxed out, that Ao Kuang is going to be swinging. Not a lot of items quite yet, and that's where Ao Kuang gets a lot of his damages off the scaling, but still enough to make you afraid.
Portal Demon started up. Elevate looking to confirm this one, no problem. Keegsmate trying to have something to say about that. Crimson as well, but he's half health and low mana. And Keegsmate looking for the fight, but he's in a similar position. Not enough mana to really continue the aggression. Maybe enough to throw out an ult when it comes off cooldown, but the Portal Demon is going to get leashed in the end. Elevate recognize they shouldn't go for it.
And Keegs has the auto attacks without the mana that Neximus or really anyone else except for Cameron can't really compete with. So willing to stick around, especially because he still has both relics available. And Keegs going for the chin size right after the Executioner. Cameron again going for the Hide of the Urchin. Elevate seems to really favor this defensive option, whereas the carries over in Memory of Michael are just looking to put out the necessary damage to cut through all the defense that Elevate has. And chin size, the correct response to a multitude of Hide of the Urchins. As long as you can get enough protection shred with things like the Executioner, Titan's Bane, that chin size is going to chew through that extra health that Hide of the Urchin gives you.
Coming around to the 20-minute mark, Memory of Michael still ahead about 4,000 in gold, even though they're behind in kills. Just keeping sure that they have the aggression, the camps, the farm to be able to do what they ever want to do. And now inbound going in, forcing the ult to come down. Not going to be able to grab anyone. Going to be a relatively large ult off the board for In Memory of Michael, because now they don't really have anyone to go in and start the fight for them.
No, but it also keeps Mythic unsafe in that mid lane. So I'd be happy with that if I'm on In Memory of Michael. Yes, the blink is down for inbound as well, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Mythic not having that extra bit of safety is important.
Keegsmate going to get gank coming through, looking for the execute, but it's not going to be found here. The damage just wasn't there to be able to fully eliminate the Hunter, but he's taking a lot of bad trades trying to fight into this one, looking for the damage. It's all getting thrown onto him. He's going to have to fall back and farm up to try and get that last little bit of lifesteal. Cameron now in the bad spot as 3 have rotated over. Cameron getting low, Jumpa looking for the damage, and a nice ult from Crimson. Going to be able to spread that damage. The shield's going to be good to keep him alive a little bit longer, but Crimson ultimately is going to be able to find that last hit that he needs. The last last tick of damage and find himself his first kill of the game.
So not only do Elevate drop the kill onto Keegs off of the missed Wild Storm underneath the tower from Dr. L, but they also end up sacrificing Cameron because of it. Cameron, if he doesn't have to stick around quite as long, doesn't end up in that position where he gets collapsed on, uses both relics, and still ends up falling. Crimson with a beautiful ultimate hits Cameron and Dr. L, forcing them both back.
I like the immediate call from Memory of Michael to go for the Portal Demon. They know it's open, but it's not exactly the easiest thing to confirm. They're going to be able to find it with Keegsmate in the last auto, going to get that damage, and now we see Kenshin thrown back. The silence from the Chalk going to be good, though, but Kenshin still in a rough spot, getting melted down by Keegsmate. But ultimately, it looks like Delny's going to be the only one who wants to confirm and continue chasing. And Elevate are just on the back foot. They know how to retreat, and they know when to retreat, and they're going to do exactly that. Very
close to getting stolen away. I thought that Elevate would get that after Kenshin knocked one of the players that was tanking the Portal Demon out of the leash range, took it for himself, and Mythic threw out that Shining Metal. I really thought that was going to be glowing red, but a little fortunate for In Memory of Michael to have the coin flip come up on their side, and with that extra little bit of golden experience now pushes their lead up to about 5,000, a little bit more than that now for them, 5,500, and the experience difference being closer to 7,000. Still slightly more impactful at this stage in the game, but we're getting pretty close to the point where gold is going to matter much, much more than experience. Once people start hitting level 20, XP not as impactful anymore.
And Keegsmate already at that level 20. The big thing about it is you still earn experience. You can still farm as much as you want, but you can't go to level 21. You can't go 20 plus. So everyone eventually catches up to you as long as they can prolong the game. We mentioned during picks and bans, and I think it kind of is coming up now at 22 minutes. The longer the game goes, the stronger Elevate's lineup looks.
Absolutely. As now Jumpa's in trouble. Blink Cataclysm. Kenshin's going to get him quickly. Zinbound picks up Kenshin, throws him back towards Crimson, but Crimson wants to get out of there. He's done with this fight.
Now looking to try and go forward. Delny being the only saving grace for his team, trying to box up Dr. L, doing a lot of damage in the process, going to be able to find the kill right there. And now Kenshin, Cameron, both of them on his list to go forward. Keegsmate's rotated in as well, and Neximus taking a lot of hits. One more shot is all it takes, and they're going to be able to find the 2-for-1 trade. Jumpa unfortunately falling for them, but Delny making the difference in the team fight.
Boy, I'll say, Delny goes in 1v4 and finds the kill, and no one really looks at him twice. Someone from Elevate has got to do a better job of peeling away Delny from Dr. L in that situation, because he's not going to be able to get away from a transformed Cucullin who has that anger pulsing out, that AoE damage with a mystical mail on top of that. That's what did the majority of the damage there for Delny.
Now I love that Keegsmate has two real big positions coming into this one. He's not only the one that they expect, okay, he's going to solo the Gold Fury, but his presence alone was enough to make 3 members of Elevate fall back just because of what he has been able to do and the damage he has been able to throw out. So depending on how this goes, he does have the potential to at least scare Elevate, maybe force some actives early on, or some relics early on as he go throughs, but they're ultimately all going to end up falling back, just trying to play it safe again. They don't want to go too far. They don't want to throw away a lead just because you decide you want to fight.
And Keys does need to be a little bit more careful there. He steps up and eats a minion stun from Mythic, who's starting to do significant damage on this new Wah. Memory of Michael right back to the Gold Fury. No one from Elevate's in the neighborhood. That's going to be no problem for Memory of Michael.
Now Kenshin going to get rooted down. He can't Geb Shield himself right now, and he's going to be able to get it down, but a little bit too late. He uses the Cataclysm before he falls, but it's not going to be enough. Dr. L looking for the final hit. He's going to be able to get the Execute up into the sky. That's going to keep him safe, but he looks like he might want to go in for more. He comes crashing down looking for inbound, and he's looking to get the damage. He's going to be able to combo that with Mythic and find another kill. He's caught off in a weird spot, but he's still going. Delny, again, the only saving grace for his team, coming in to find a return kill.
Delny, again, just chasing down Dr. L. He's really been this jungler's bane, as now he's looking to find Cameron as well. Good combo from Crimson onto Neximus to make sure that the Chalk can't step back and peel for Cameron. And there, Dr. L sacrificing his life to make sure that inbound dies. Probably still in favor of In Memory of Michael. Support for a jungler, they'll take most of the time.
And Delny's still going, though. He is not done fighting just yet, and he's still sitting at a good, healthy spot, although now it's starting to get a little bit worse for him. He's going to be going forward. The sprint was popped by Elevate to come in and try and chase him down, but there's going to be another ult coming out from Crimson. It's going to be enough to deter Cameron and save Delny, who... that's the only time I think I've seen him need saving.
Yeah, the only time so far. 2 deaths, but a lot of those were all alone on the right-hand side. 2 executes from Dr. L, who is now fully stacked on that passive. All 3 of his kills have come via the execute, so he's got some extra power. He's got some extra magical lifesteal on top of that. So now after he finishes what's probably going to be an Obsidian Shard, after the Polynomicon here, he's going to need a Rod of Tahuti very, very quickly. I think I would have preferred to see him go for Rod right now, right after the Poly, because by the time he finishes whatever pen option he's going for and then builds into a Rod of Tahuti, we're talking 35 minutes. I mean, that's a full 10 minutes from now, potentially. The game could be decided by then. Yeah,
a lot can change, especially when you're at 26 minutes in, just because the way things go, all it takes is one team fight to swing things over in your favor or against you. And the Portal Demon and the Fire Giant are part of that reason. We see the teams kind of grouping up over here, doing the dance we have come so accustomed to seeing. And a lot of it is just who can keep better vision of this side of the map, just to make sure that no one goes through and sneaks it, no one goes through and starts it, and ultimately might possibly be able to get some baits out of it. The Portal Demon started up, Crimson and Inbound, just kind of hovering around that one, but Nuwa's going to be able to give vision to everybody.
Nice two-man knock-up there by Delny. Thorns as well, trying to chase down Cameron, who throws out a stinger of his own. Neximus zones away the two frontliners with that ultimate, but where are all the damage dealers from Memory of Michael? They're way back and under absolutely no pressure from Elevate.
Going to be able to confirm that Portal Demon, this time doing exactly what Keegsmate likes to do, which is get those objectives and take Dr. L out early on. That saves the squishies in the backline, and now Inbound going to be able to help get rid of Kenshin, locking him down, locking him around and into the ground. Oh, he's going to be taking back to the fountain as the rest of the team's getting chased down. Cameron, his Aegis has worn off, the root is good, and they're going to be able to confirm that kill. Memory of Michael are on a rampage going forward, but they're going to go ahead and pull back and go for the Fire Giant.
Look, Dr. L makes a huge mistake and gets picked in mid because he didn't have beats up. It's bad, but it happens, and that's okay. But then Elevate come in and try and save a really dead Ao Kwong and end up losing two more members on top of that. Does a Memory of Michael get a free Fire Giant for killing one member? No, Elevate's got a chance to contest. Do they get a free Fire Giant if you lose 3 to 4? Absolutely no way for Elevate to contest that. Bad play by Elevate to try and come in and save a teammate who had already made their mistake.
I do like Neximus is present at the end. It's like, okay, 3 of my teammates have died. I know they're going to do Fire Giant now because we just let it open for them. But I can still try to stop it. I can still try to go in. Doesn't work that way. Ends up falling down, taking a big spill. And now we see 5 members of Fire Giant on the side of Memory of Michael, all with their ultimates about to be ready as well. So the next team fight is ultimately in their control.
And that's what you expect from a team who's up by 12,000 gold now with a Fire Giant. Multiple members level 20. They're solo, they're mid, they're ADC. Jumpa's level 19. He's not far behind. Another good game on the Oelish. Crimson has been absolutely amazing on this Nox. 2-0 and 8. He's been following up off of every CC possible to find those combinations, and it's been Neximus and Kenshin who have really needed to worry about this Nox because that's who the focus has been, and that's how Nox really should be played. Knock down those frontliners with your combo, lock them down, allow your hunter, allow your jungler to shred through their protections, and then you can use your ultimate to affect the mage in the backline.
Last game, we got to see a lot of IMOM coming through, and the numbers going up in their favor were pretty easy to read why. We saw them winning team fights, we saw them invading the jungle. Every time their gold went up, it made sense. This time, it's been much more of a silent run. Until now, we haven't seen them fighting as much. There's still only a total of 19 kills on the board, but they ramped it up the faster they got. They got the small lead, it was about 4,000, and they just made it blossom into this full 12,000 and growing with that tower lead as they just continue to push down. With a Fire Giant, they're looking to get as much utility out of this as possible. The Phoenix is the main target. There's still 2 tier 2s that can give them even more gold and put them even further in the lead.
Blank Cataclysm from Kenshin. Up into the sky goes Mythic. Good damage among the majority of a Memory of Michael as Dr. L gets in the backline and kills Crimson before that ultimate goes off.
He's going to get taken down here by Jumpa, but over in the back, Delny's still fighting and zoning out, looking to get the kill onto Cameron. And he's looking like he might be able to get it, but the Phoenix and Mythic a little bit too strong. The big form wears down, and he isn't necessarily small anymore. He's still going to make a big impact. The rest of the team's able to confirm another kill going into on Neximus. And now that opens up this Phoenix a little bit better because there's only 2 people to defend, and neither of them are very tanky enough that they want to get into the front line here. Cameron and Mythic both looking like they might take a spell.
That was a really good fight from Elevate overall, considering how far behind they are, considering the Fire Giant buff as well for Memory of Michael. That went really well, and to only come up with 1 kill has got to be pretty disheartening for them. I mean, Mythic hits a 3-man minion stun around the corner right where he's standing right now. He initiates the fight with Kenshin with that Fire Shards to make sure that you're going to be able to get everyone as low as possible, and Dr. L gets the execute base, not a true execute, but finishes off a low health target in Crimson before the Aegis can go off. All things considered, Elevate does a great job there. It's just that they're so far behind. If they're down 8,000 gold, they probably kill 4 members and are able to counter push in that scenario. Just too far behind to really make the big impact that they were hoping for.
And that's always the rough part when you fall behind. Like, it's not necessarily the hardest thing to play from behind, but you find yourself in scenarios like that where you just can't do anything. You can't come in, you can't fight back. Even with the Phoenix there to do some damage, we saw a lot of them pulling a little bit too far forward and fighting outside of the Phoenix, not getting that little bit of extra ticks down as they could go forward. But with the way things are going, Memory of Michael going to lose the Fire Giant in about 20 seconds, so they're going to go ahead and play this one safe, come back, look for the Portal Demon Fire Giant as they come up on respawn.
And I like that call. They got the left side Phoenix, they put pressure on to Elevate. Now they can just take this time where they're waiting for Fire Giant and Portal Demon to respawn to push down these towers. You don't have to waste your time by clearing those with Fire Giant buff, because there's no chance Elevate has to defend them without it even. So take this time, knock down these towers if possible, and allow yourself to have the most time possible to find those Phoenix kills.
Looking for the last couple of towers that are on the board for Elevate. There's only 2 tier 2s, one in the right, one in mid. Now there's only going to be the one left in mid as Inbound going to go through, going to throw back Cameron right into Jumpa, who's going to be able to help get that one and find that kill. And even though Nuwa's doing a lot of damage, and even though we see Dr. L looking like he wanted to loop around, just doesn't look like they're going to be able to get the damage that they want. Kenshin doing his best, and Jumpa very low in the front, but he is not deterred at all, going to be going forward, looking for the Geb most of all, and Dr. L looking to go around the backline. But with Delny following him the way he is, it's essentially a living sentry ward at this point, going to be able to keep him revealed and keep him on the map. And that keeps Jumpa, Crimson, and Keegsmate all safe from the wrath of the Ao Kuang.
I really like Delny just chasing down Dr. L, because he was the biggest threat by far for In Memory Michael to deal with. As soon as Cameron goes down, Mythix uses ultimate. Now all eyes on Ao Kuang. Make sure that he isn't going to get into the back line and kill one of your carries that used all their relics, such as Keegsmate, who had to expend both beads and Aegis in order to stay alive.
Now, Portal Demon down. I expect that's going to be a back, a heal, and a Fire Giant, unless they are just deciding to play a completely different game than Smite. But the way things are going, this is comfortable for them. They don't even have to worry about a steal coming through this time just because of the lead they've managed to build. And the fact that they put 3 members of Elevate down right before going into that. They didn't even have to worry about the cooldown timers on, or those respawn timers, I guess are the better way to describe them, coming through, because no one was going to be alive in time. No
chance for Elevate to get in there and defend. And now only 1 tower remaining. They've got 2 Phoenixes to take care of on the mid and right-hand side. Both minion waves are pretty far pushed up. Crimson's going to clean up that one on right to ensure that the 1 minion wave is going to be pushing right, while the rest of A Memory of Michael push on the left.
Trying to find the damage. I'm trying to find the opening, I think, is the big one right now. Inbound is the one who will initiate. He does have his blink available, and he will go in just like that. Get the ult only onto Kenshin, but that's been the main target. They're going to pull him back and get rid of the Geb early on. He's just going to get shredded down. 1 more hit is all it's going to take, and they're going to be able to find that inbound credit for the kill, as we see Delny in the backline all by his lonesome, but looking to try and solo down Cameron, actually in a 1v3 scenario, to the point where he could potentially come out of this better, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Phoenix. Going to be able to make it out alive thanks to his team, and Cameron's still going to take a spill, but Dr. L is here, and Dr. L is looking for the damage and the kill, but he's just not able to do it. He's too slow. He's locked down. The damage is good. Jumpa gets the kill. That's 3 gone on the side of Elevate. And now IMOM are able to knock on this door. Keegsmate making the smart call, goes to the left lane to clear that Phoenix.
Dr. L needed to find that execute onto Delny. That's why he looked so hungry for that kill. Doesn't matter how hungry he is, though. He's not going to find that meal as Delny stays alive. And with Fire Giant regen, he's already back up to half health.
Now the middle Phoenix doesn't even matter to the rest of In Memory of Michael this game. The Titan is the main call, and the Titan is going to be what wins the game right there. And